Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're taking our look here, of course, at Bitcoin. We're just going to take a quick look at the overall big picture stuff. Make sure we understand generally what's going to happen next, because a closure below 28,000 yesterday led a lot of us to believe the price action is going to continue to retrace. Well, it continues to pave new paths here. We're in overtime as well, where the price action should have pulled back by now, but still hasn't. So a lot of new volume coming into the the coin, and just in general cryptocurrency. There's so much more volume than ever before. It's really nice to be able to see this. So what does all that mean? We're going to take a look at high block capital and a few other things to make sure you understand generally what that back end stuff is telling us. Now, if you are new to the channel, keep in mind, become a amazing trader if you want. Obviously, you don't have to, but you can work with a lot of really awesome traders here. CryptoCash.tech is a site, link down below. And the reason why it's beneficial, of course, because we do have a lot of benefits here. We've got a premium market data, more so trading university, as well as our Discord community. And not only can you learn to become a better trader, take all the 18 years of experience I have and show you exactly what that looks like. You can obviously be able to benefit from some really awesome positions and communicating with other fantastic traders. We had some nice here signals as well with, what is it? We got a short here for ETH, nice little 10%, and BNB for 22%. These are just signals that I send out where I share my trades with my community. So it's kind of all part of that. Feel free to join. Obviously, that is a really significant benefit. It's fully automated through Cornix, which obviously there is a link down below if you want to consider using that as well. So Bitcoin, what's going on here? It's funny. It's really pushing hard. So if we take a look at its history, right? Most recently, what it did was it came down to a 9, right? We got overextended. RSI was at 30. Okay. Right now, price action comes up. We're at a 9 plus 1, basically a 10, and RSI is at 70. Okay. So what that really is telling us that statistically speaking, we should see a pullback here soon. Now, again, does that matter? Is that a guarantee? Absolutely not. But that is something that is fairly obvious here to me as to why we should see a pullback, because greed is a very real thing. Things are super exciting right now. It would make total sense for a massive sale to happen. Again, a lot of new money is coming on the market too. A lot of longs are jumping in, so that could change things. In fact, why don't we go ahead and take a quick look at this here. So with high block capital, we can kind of see our liquidation levels are kind of drawing dead / even. Yesterday we had more shorts, more longs liquidated. Today there's more shorts liquidated. Right, because again, the price action pulled back, open interest came down, but it continues to increase. If open interest continues to increase and the price goes up, that's a sign that we have more volume in the market and there's a lot more interest, and the price will likely continue in that direction. So based on what we see here so far, even though there's a lot more asks than bids, the fear and greed index is at an all-time high, at least for this year, at 68, and there's a lot of money flooding into the market. So it makes sense that the price keeps going up because of that. But from a technical standpoint, we're overextended significantly, and it wouldn't make a ton of sense for the price to keep going up from here. So we got this conflicting information that kind of just kind of shifts things in a different way. You kind of got to shift your mindset and try not to attach yourself to bullish or bearish qualities, or just whatever direction it's heading. It'll go whatever way it wants to. We're not in a bullish or a bearish trend right now. We're kind of breaking free in that no man's land, figuring out what's going on. So if we take a look here, of course, we can see a lot of liquidations occurring between 28,500 and 27,000. So again, once more, the range-bound activity between 27 and 28.5 is fairly consistent. Keep in mind, this chart does show other liquidation levels that haven't occurred yet. This is basically just open positions that have been closed. Again, keep in mind, these could be some shorts up there closing their position. They could be longs hoping to try to get a nice selling point at that point. But generally speaking, the key here is that we have the most amount of liquidation levels between 27 and 28.5. Okay, so that's fairly obvious. We've also got a lot of open interest here coming at the 28,000 mark, right there about 28,100. Okay, now are those shorts, are those longs? It's hard to say specifically, but we can kind of disseminate that those are probably more so shorts based on the simple fact that they're trying to catch that highest point and work the way down. Okay, so more shorts than longs at this point. Liquidation levels are kind of drawing dead in the last few days. More money's coming in the market. Open interest is up. A lot of little things that are important to note, but what does that mean on the charts? Well, let's go ahead and see if that helps us figure anything out here, because again, we haven't changed much here today since yesterday. We're still at 70 on the RSI, kind of trending just barely above. Money flow index is coming up as well. We see the MACD is still starting to taper, which is a positive sign to the downside, depending on how you look at it, right? But for the most part, we're losing that momentum to the upside, of course, because it was such a strong increase in the first place. So that being said, we're kind of in a position right now where the daily does still look strong. I would consider not betting against it. If you do shorts, which we did recently, have some really tight stop losses in place to ensure that, if something were to happen, you don't get stuck, okay? That being said, we take a look here, we can see this continuation here on the 4 hour. Decent amount of consolidation, so this is positive in a sense, giving it that foundation for the next leg up if it were to. So keep in mind, there is definitely a chance the price could increase from here, but we are starting to lose this momentum to the downside. The 4 hours kind of telling us there's a potential shift in momentum happening, but it hasn't happened yet. Okay, so if we take a look once more, TD sequential, kind of getting a lot of resets where we had 2 nines in a row previously, and it essentially kind of gave us the indication that it wanted to turn itself around. Well, the fact that we're holding at this price point for this long is a pretty good testament that it's going to hold this range for a while. I hear some people saying the bottom is in. That could very well be the case. Again, I wouldn't guarantee that. It really depends on how the Fed meeting goes tomorrow. That has a lot to do with it because I think a lot of the everything we see right now, it's kind of baked in, so to speak. So the news and the Fed meeting tomorrow is likely going to be positive. That's why the price action is increasing into that. Just keep in mind, a lot of times you're supposed to buy the rumor and sell the news. Price is increasing right now. Tomorrow could be that catalyst, that news event that pushes the price down. Never truly know. It's best not to try to trade into an event like that because it can be just extremely crazy. If you're part of our community, even if you're not, we're going to be live streaming the Fed meeting tomorrow and kind of talking about this, discussing those points there with my admins, essentially just kind of helping you understand what the heck does that mean, translating the big picture data for you. All right, so check that out, of course, tomorrow. That is at, what is the time? It's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it goes live at 2:30. Which will be, of course, 11 o'clock in the West Coast. So that is kind of coming up here tomorrow. But to summarize here on the hourly, we're starting to kind of intersect with the cloud. So this is where things get a little muddy. When you have a lot of data, kind of like just say a short consolidation period like this here, last 24 hours, 48 hours roughly, has just been range-bound activity. The cloud will give you a lot of false positives. So try not to read into the fact that we just broke free and clear of the price action or the conversion lines above the baseline. While we are above the cloud, this is generally positive to the upside. It does not imply that you take a long position because of that. That's not officially confirmation. To me, confirmation comes in a lot of different ways. I mean, it could come on the 15-minute time frame. It could come on other time frames. Because if we look at just say Bollinger Bands, for example, we can see that there's a lot of overextension. Like a lot of folks in my community bought the dip here and rode up. So hypothetically, you could buy the top here and ride it down because we're getting overextended. You can see these overextended marks, places in which my indicator is telling us to sell. Okay, so really cool stuff there in that regard. But what I would say just in general is that we have just as much probability of the price action increasing as we do decreasing. I know it seems kind of crazy, but if we can close above 28,000 today, I think we're going to have a better chance to increase from here. But again, going into the Fed meeting tomorrow, it's really hard to say exactly what's going to happen. So I would just recommend kind of sitting on your hands for the moment. If you're going to have some positions open, go very light, small position sizes, and try not to overdo it with leverage. Okay. So again, just a nice, kind recommendation until we get confirmation here because we truly do not have it yet. I hope this makes this very beneficial for you. I hope it made sense. Thanks again for joining me. Look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care.